Hey guys, and welcome back to another exciting episode. In today's episode, we'll be doing a Game Week 11 team review, as well as revealing our master plan for Game Week 12 and 13. So please stay tuned till the end to watch that. However, before we start, please remember to hit the like button, smash that subscribe button. It will really be appreciated as we are trying to grow this channel going forward, and it will help the YouTube algorithm. Also follow us on Twitter at FPL_A+, and feel free to join our FPL mini league. So how did the team do in Game Week 11? Starting at the back in goal, Nick Pope was quite solid as Newcastle drew with Manchester United and he secured a clean sheet for 6 points. Joao Cancelo unfortunately did not have the same luck as Manchester City lost 1-0 in an exciting game against Liverpool and he only secured 2 points. Kieran Trippier was as solid as always and matched his teammate with a 6-point score. Matt Doherty was quite lively as he secured 6 points and a clean sheet. In midfield, Andreas was involved with an assist and secured a solid 5-point score. Wilfred Zaha was quite disappointing as he blanked for a 3-point score. Phil Foden scored only 2 points, however it could have been much more as he scored a goal that was subsequently ruled out due to a foul. Gabriel Martinelli unfortunately also blanked for a 3-point score. James Maddison scored only 2 points and he received his 5th yellow card for the season, which resulted in him being suspended for Game Week 12. Up front, Harry Kane continued his glorious recent streak of form with another goal and 9 points. Erling Haaland disappointed as he blanked for a 4-point score as our captain. Overall, the team managed 48 points, which is rather disappointing. However, the margins were quite fine and it is still 2 points higher than the average. It did result in a smallish red arrow to take our team to 33,742 in the world, which out of 10 million players currently, if you had to give me this ranking at this point at the start of the season, I would have grabbed it with both hands. So still quite solid where the team is actually positioned. We need to just strategically make the correct moves, not only short term but long term as well. So what is the plan for Game Week 12? So with James Maddison being ruled out of the next match, which is a blank for Manchester City as well as Arsenal, many FPL managers will be faced with having not a full 11 number of players to start the match. If this was any other game week, we could have benched Maddison and played one of the bench players. However, as we have got Manchester City and Arsenal players, we don't have that same luxury as we will need to bench Manchester City and Arsenal players, and as a result we will need to use our free transfer to replace James Maddison. And the transfer for James Maddison, which has already been done before the price rise, was James Maddison to Trossard. He was priced at 6.8 million and subsequently he's gone up. And the reason for bringing Trossard in, he plays Nottingham Forest next, and Nottingham Forest's defense is known to implode at times. The last match they managed to only concede 1 goal against Wolves. However, there has been some matches where they have totally imploded, and Trossard is the talisman for Brighton and he's definitely someone that can expose that. If you look at his fixtures, he's playing Manchester City next and Chelsea, so not the best of fixtures going forward. However, we are prepared to take a bit of a punt on Trossard for this game week and either ship him out the next game week or bench him. The other players that we are considering to transfer at this stage, it's one of 2 plans. The ideal plan that we're looking at is, because after we bring in Trossard, we still only have 9 players, so we'll need to make 2 transfers to field a 11, and none other than Mo Salah is at the top of most FPL managers' ideal shopping list for Game Week 12 due to his recent improvement in form. Scored a hat-trick in the Champions League in literally 5 minutes, scored a great goal against Manchester City as well, and he's a very streaky player, so I would not mind if I could get Mo Salah in, as it appears to be that his form is peaking currently. However, I'm not too sure about the players that I'm transferring out. I don't mind the -8, but if it's coming at the expense of dropping top players that I would want back again, such as Cancelo and Foden, then it is quite questionable as what happens if Mo Salah's performance starts slacking and he does not deliver returns as you would expect. Then that -8 would all be in vain. So the first consideration is Phil Foden and Joao Cancelo for Mo Salah and Cassania from Leicester. The alternative option is to keep Foden and Cancelo on the bench and only make 1 transfer, which will mean a -4 and fielding 10 players instead of 11, and replacing Patterson, who's currently injured and expected to be back possibly in 2 game weeks time, for Castagna. So that would field 10 players, and that would be a -4. And the best way to assess this is to actually have a look at what is the transfer planner saying if we had to plan our transfers on option 1 or plan 1, which is Mo Salah, and then plan 2, which is no Salah for Game Week 12. Okay, so here are the 2 plan options. Plan 1, as you can see, is the Mo Salah team for Game Week 12 on the left hand side, and then the right hand side, plan 2 is the no Salah team for Game Week 12. So as you can see, plan 1 requires a -8. However, the difference is that the -8 allows you to field 11 players that can start and is essentially a freemium team with Salah, Kane and Haaland. Whereas team number 2, plan 2, is -4, only fields 10 players for Game Week 12 as Foden blanks, and has got 2 premiums in Haaland and Kane. So how does this team run through up until Game Week 16, which is the last game week before the World Cup and before you have unlimited transfers? So how can we pivot our teams to assess which team is better? Okay, so Game Week 13, using the plan in mind, we can move Trossard to Foden, as Trossard has a tough game against Manchester City. Then in plan number 2, we can move Trossard to Salah and downgrade Harry Kane to Firmino. That is in Game Week 13, so we can get Firmino for a good game, at least on paper, versus Harry Kane that's got a tough game against Newcastle. So that would be for a -4. So effectively over the 2 game weeks 12 and 13, both options are now on a -8. Okay. However, if you're looking at the 2 teams, which team possibly scores more points, I would have to say that even after the -4, team number 2 would score more points in Game Week 13. Game Week 12 would have been the opposite, where the team with 11 players and Mo Salah and Harry Kane would have scored more points. Okay, so that's Game Week 13. Moving on to Game Week 14. So Game Week 14, the move would be in team plan 1, Harry Kane to Ivan Toney before his 2 good fixtures coming up, as well as Zaha to Saka, who plays Nottingham Forest. So this is how the team would line up in plan 1. In plan 2, the transfer would be just Zaha to Saka, as we can afford that, just about, and that results in the team looking as follows. Okay, so the team structure is starting to get a little bit closer to each other, with a few changes, most notably Cancelo and Firmino in plan number 2 versus Toney and Patterson in team number 1, plan 1. Moving on to game week 15, the plan would be then to upgrade Castagna to Cancelo, who plays Fulham, and in team plan number 2, the plan is to play Toney to bring him in instead of Firmino, as Firmino plays Tottenham and Toney plays Forest, which is the much easier game, at least on paper. Then that takes us to game week number 16. So game week number 16, the transfer would be Toney back to Firmino, as Toney has a tough game against Manchester City, and this transfer is also applicable in plan number 2. So if you look at the two teams, spot the difference between plan 1 versus plan 2, you'll see that the starting lineups are exactly the same in game week 16. The only difference is, if you look at the bench, we've got Patterson in team number 1, plan 1, versus plan number 2 that we have Castagna. However, that doesn't really make a difference, as those are bench players, and Patterson is possibly likely to be back after game of 14, so he could also be a playing bench player if required. So overall, that's the plan, with plan number 1 and plan number 2. Which plan are you in favor of? Is it the Mo Salah or the No Salah team for game week 12? Please comment down below in the description which plan do you prefer. Okay, so what does this mean? How does the team line up for plan number 1? So plan number 1 for game week 12, the team will line up as follows. Nick Pope in goal. In defense, we'll have Anderson, Trippier, Doherty, Castagna. In midfield, we'll have Wilfried Zaha, Mo Salah, Trossard, Andreas. Up front, forwards, we'll have Mitrovic and Kane. What a team! The captaincy armband will then be on Mo Salah at this stage, with Trossard also with a good shout for captaincy, and at this stage vice captain. No other team members are putting up their hands for the captaincy stakes. Harry Kane has been pretty decent, but I don't really see him hauling against Manchester United. So Mo Salah is most likely to be one of the favoured captaincy options for this game week, with Erling Haaland that is out. But Trossard could also be quite a decent option as well. How will the team line up in plan number 2? Plan number 2, we will have Nick Pope in goal, Anderson in defence with Trippier, Doherty and Castagna. We'll have Wilfried Zaha, then Foden who blanks, so he will not be getting any points. We'll have Trossard in midfield together with Andreas, Harry Kane and Mitrovic. With plan number 2, the captaincy armband will most likely be on Trossard, with Harry Kane taking the vice captaincy. So these are the two plans, plan 1 and plan 2. We haven't yet decided and confirmed which option we'll be going for. This is just to give you quite a good idea how you can maneuver from game week 11 to game week 12 and beyond, all the way till game week 16. So hopefully you found this video quite useful. All the best for Game Week 12. Until next time, cheerio.